February might have not been so gracious, but now it's time for a change. March is quite a busy month, so let's get to it, Libra. The month starts on a good note with a new moon in your 6th house. This lunation is quite particular as it's ruled by the great benefic Jupiter, the planet of abundance and good luck. Though this new moon happens in your 6th house, a place traditionally thought of as one of the more challenging houses in a given chart, having such a strong positive presence is suitable for a change. And change is what this lunation is all about. This transit can manifest new job opportunities that feel less unrewarding for you. This is especially true for those who are 21, 33, 45 and 57. While the 6th house doesn't gift us with autonomy, meaning that you may still have to work under or with somebody else, these newly acquired positions will prove to be much more profitable than before. This lunar cycle is all about hard work that feels purposeful. This is made even clearer when we take into consideration the Sun and Jupiter conjunction happening shortly after this new moon. These conjunctions usually come to magnify our efforts to earn us accolades for our actions. Whatever you do this month will not go unnoticed. Shortly after, Mercury will also be changing signs, entering into your 6th house, and promoting communication. This is not the straightforward kind of speech and exchange of ideas Mercury is known for, however. As long as they stay in your 6th house, you'll find that exploring emotions and the poetic will be encouraged, even if that may be out of place. Some adjustment will need to happen, but it's nothing that you can't handle. Especially when we look at the other two planets changing signs, Mars and Venus. This power duo will be entering into your 5th house of joy, sex and entertainment. The 5th place is quite the house to have these two transit through, as they're both linked to the pleasures of the flesh. It would be wise to be careful not to take things past the limit of what's appropriate. Starting on the 6th and lasting all the way to early April, as much as you may want to spice things up, it's important to remember that Saturn is still in your 5th house and will continue to stay there until later in 2023. With his cold and restrictive touch, he can be quite the party pooper. This is especially true for the Libras born at night. This, of course, doesn't mean you shouldn't let loose a little, but Saturn will really appreciate some moderation. On the 18th, we have the full moon happening in your 12th house of seclusion, loneliness, and self-undoing. This house can be as challenging as it sounds. Especially if you have Venus or Mars, or both, in that house, the lunation can make you highly prone to overindulgence in order to numb some of your worries out. To navigate through this lunation masterfully, you'll have to ask yourself if you want to put a band-aid on your current worries or if you want to actually fix them for good. If your answer is the latter, as tough as it may be, you'll have to sit with your sorrows for a second and investigate where they're coming from. If we look at what Mercury, the ruler of this lunation, is doing in your chart at the moment, we also get a bit hint of what that could be. On the day of the full moon, they'll be opposing our nighttime luminary in a sign that asks them to be emotional and abandon cynicism. As sorrowful as this lunation may feel, it's also a door wide open to get to the bottom of what has been troubling you. The month comes to a close with two significant conjunctions. The first is actually quite relevant to the lunation mentioned above, with Mercury and Jupiter joining forces in your 6th house. This transit brings an almost clairvoyant sense of clarity to Libra's current sense of purpose and service. For a sign that is highly focused on fairness and how to provide for the other, this transit will open your eyes to any areas of your life where you might be giving too much and not receiving much in return. Perhaps this could even be the trigger of the aforementioned 12th house blues. The second and final conjunction of the month is Venus and Saturn's in your 5th house. Venus is your sign's ruler, and if you remember what the 5th house is all about, the themes here go hand in hand with her love for pleasure. If you let yourself get carried away a bit too much earlier in the month, this Saturn conjunction can come to mitigate some of the consequences that might have risen. However, the 5th house is not just about pleasure. This transit can also be excellent for the Libra creatives in the arts, harnessing within you ideas that are long-lasting and fulfilling. So don't wait around and let those creative juices overflow this month. Good luck, Libra.